I always wanted to serve on a jury.
I'm really super excited to be here, so I really appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Creating this whole trial, Daddy.
I want to give a big shout out to the 13th Jury Podcast and Brandi.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
That every time you run into Phil Barber, you should reach for it.
And then I just look to the jury, and it's sort of like, look.
I was in the eye of the storm, and you guys were watching the storm.
Hey, if you're bored of work, come pop in and say, hey, we'll have some coffee.
You are a ray of sunshine, and I love what you've done with your YouTube channel.
Hello! Ooh, what's happening here? Maybe I should have looked in the mirror before we got on camera. Maybe not. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, jurors. Happy Taco Tuesday. It's gonna be a good day. Hello. Come on in, grab your seat. Hello. We have a big day today. We have a big, huge day today. We have Karen Reed hearing starting very soon. Let's actually, you know what? There will be video of them outside. Let's just watch some of that. Let's watch some of that stuff happening. Let me pull some up because I know they're out there, and we'll watch them while we're talking about it. Here it is. Let's see. There we go. Let me share. They're out there. Oh, it's a puppy. We tuned in at just the right time. Hello. Let me get our regular feed pulled up so we can be ready when they go live in the courtroom.
Now, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Karen's coming next.
I will tell you.
Right.
It's going to be a big day.
But that's not today.
While we're talking Karen Reed, few announcements. I am going to be on Cup of Justice podcast. Oh, here I'm protesting. Chanting. It's crazy. Have you ever seen something like this at a courthouse before for hearings? Saying free Karen Reed, or saying justice for John.
No problem. We get to wait in line. That's what we get to do.
Right.
So they get dropped off in an unmarked cruiser. That's real good too. How'd that happen? The freak here. Seriously, guys? That's bullshit.
Okay, let me mute him. We have this is the last pretrial hearing where they're hearing motions, I believe. There's going to be what is happening over here? What is that? There's going to be April 12th, I think, is like another, I believe, as of now. Of course, that always changes. April 12th, I believe, is supposed to be the last hearing beforehand, but all of the final motions, I believe, are supposed to be heard today. So we'll see. I am going to be, this coming Friday, I'm going to be recording an episode with Mandy Matney, Liz Farrell for Cup of Justice, talking about the Karen Reed case. So that, I will get the air date for that. I believe it's going to air the day that trial starts, though. As of now, that's the plan. So I will let y'all know for sure. So that's big. That's huge. They have a huge podcast. So that's very exciting. but I will be a guest on. Look at 80s Music Man in his green suit, looking all fancy in his green suit. So I will let y'all know when that's going to air, but I believe it's going to be airing on the 16th. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. Also, the podcast, if you have not heard or listened to episode 6, episode 6 is done great on YouTube. There's a bunch of listens on YouTube, but also don't forget you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Music and all that stuff too. And the reason I am saying that, I have some big stuff going on with the podcast, which is really exciting, but I have, if you listen to it on like regular podcast platforms, I had to swap where I upload it, and so I can follow it a little bit better, and anyway, it's done pretty well on there so far. So if you haven't listened to it yet, listen to it anywhere you get your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of that good stuff. So this is the first episode where I really start kind of getting into some of the evidence against oh, there she is, where I start getting into some of the evidence against the third-party culprits alleged by the defense. Most everything up to this point has been, very critical of the investigation, obviously, because it was a terrible investigation. It's crazy, isn't it? Like a celebrity arriving for the red carpet.
All right, I'm gonna cry.
It's crazy. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Like nothing I've ever seen. This trial is going to be wild. That it is. That it is. I don't even have, it's, oh, hey, Barb. I've seen you in comments. No, it's not cheering for a drunk driver, which I think everybody has agreed all along that everybody who left that bar that night shouldn't have been driving like they were, especially since they all said they were taking shots and stuff. But no, that's not what they're cheering for. People are wanting to, people, that are cheering for her wholeheartedly believe in her innocence, and they are cheering for her as they believe that she is fighting for her life for something she didn't do. Because this isn't a drunk driving charge. This is murder charge. Very different. Dinah Bro, 420. Gifted 5 memberships. Lindy, Marie Moss. Oh, Marie Moss is back in green. Our statistician is back in green. And Lindy and Jiggly Jules and Ashley Donald. Did I get them all? Did I miss one? Welcome back to the green side. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Interesting. The glare played my video Young Jerks. I was a guest on that show, and the Glare played my 227 video, and Melanie Little. I talked to her. I think next week, Melanie Little and I are going to try to do a show. She asked me to come on as a guest. Regina Crawford gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see, Brenda Meyer, Artie B, Bad and Bougie, Mrs. Kevin, and I'm Not a Cat. We're all gifted. I love that. I'm not a cat. We're all gifted memberships. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me get our, see if I can get our feed going. We have, I ended up taking yesterday off from the lives because I had a lot of stuff that I needed to get done, and I was so tired. Y'all, I ended up going back to bed when I woke up at like 6 or whatever. I went back to bed, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. I actually caught up on some of my sleep yesterday. All right, let me get our feed pulled up so we can watch inside the courtroom. Oh, and we missed a lot yesterday. I did see all right, okay, Barb, this is going to, okay, let's nip this in the bud right here, Barb. Cop haters on parade. You do realize that John O'Keefe was a cop. So this is going to be the last little snarky comment, okay? Because we don't do that here. We respect both opinions, and we're not, this is what we're not going to do today. I haven't had enough coffee to deal with the you know, so this is what we're not going to do today. John O'Keefe was a cop, so this is not cop haters on parade. This is, you know, corruption haters on parade. And if this is what, you know, they believe in, then they are allowed to have their opinions. So what we're not going to do is attack other people's opinions. Okay? So let's try that again. You are allowed to believe whatever you want, but you are not allowed to attack the other side. All right. So yesterday we missed a lot too. We had Diddy's house got raided. I saw that. We had the announcement from Becky Hill that she's resigning. What else did we have? We had all kinds of stuff happening yesterday. The Nancy Grace interview came out, where she did the interview with Sebastian's oh, oops. There we go. Oh yeah, and Diddy, yeah, and Diddy is running, yes. Crazy, right? Crazy. All right, let me get this pulled up. Hi, welcome. Some of y'all just joining. Come on in. Grab your seat. Come on in. I'm going to pull up the feed. It should be starting. The Zoom one is up, but the other one runs a little bit behind. So let me see if I can. Because if I do the Zoom one, then it makes me. Oh, the bridge collapsed this morning. I have not seen that yet. Oops. I have not seen that yet. We'll have to look at that when before we start our stuff. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Ooh, maybe I have to go into the Zoom. Hold on, let me pull up the Zoom just in case, because I'm not finding my feed. Yeah, I saw that they said that the feds were searching Diddy's place in relation to like sex trafficking stuff, which was, I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? Ugh. And I saw that his plane took off down to wherever it went. I was working, so I only kind of halfway paid attention to stuff, but it was crazy. All right, let's see. Let me get the Zoom pulled up just in case, because I don't see the other, I got the hiccups, the other feed coming up. For Baby's Mom, gifted 5 memberships. For Baby's Mom, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Why am I going so slow? What is up with my... Oh, I know why. Because I'm on the... Come on. All right. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully that's better. Is P. Diddy in custody? Not that I know of. I didn't follow it too closely. I was just seeing some of the updates. But it looked like... Y'all don't piss me off before I've even had my coffee. Don't come in here being assholes. Not going to tolerate it in here. Period. I didn't follow it too closely, but I just saw that he flew out. So I don't know if they were able to get him or not. Thank you, mods. This is gonna... I love our mods. Look, y'all even got Lucy growling. Dino 420. Wait, where'd that go? There we go. Give to 5 more. Oh, it's moving and I can't. Oh, wait, there it goes. Terry R. Debbie McPhail. Sarah Barra. Emmy. And Allie B were gifted memberships. Sorry, my eyeballs are having trouble focusing. Can't read. All right, let's see. Let me get our feed up. Come on. Why is this... What is happening? I'm having issues. With the feed. Come on, come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Get the zoom. The only thing about the zoom is that the audio isn't as good, but you know, if that's all we get. Where's my ID? Hey, Barb, tell me where I've said that. Tell me where I've said that. Tell me where I said that hundreds of people are conspiring. You know, this is the thing that makes me so frustrated with the people who come in here or attack me on Twitter and saying, you said this and you said this and you think this and you think this. Find where I've said that. Find where I have said that. Find it. Show me. Because I haven't. You know what I have done? I have reported on both sides. I have said what both sides think. I have very specifically not even said what I think. I think that people should have more facts before they start saying what other people think. Let's see. Let's see. Test the audio. Alright, my video is off. I can't tell if my audio is. Let me look and see if I can find another. I'm not even reading comments. I need to have my coffee before I read comments. Oh, hold on. I think I can find one. I bet Boston. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Come on, Boston News. Hold on, I want to mute myself. I'm having trouble getting my feed pulled up. My stuff is just spinning. If I can't get my stuff to work, I might have to pause y'all while I reboot. Because everything on my screen right now is doing like this. I can't get anything to work. Let's try this again. Hello, hello. Come on. It's kicking all of y'all out. I don't know what's going on. I can't even like press buttons on my computer right now. Let me leave the Zoom and see if that helps. It's letting me do it from... This is the only one. If this doesn't start working, I'm going to have to reboot my computer. It's kicking all y'all out? Wonder why. It did better the other day, didn't it? See if I don't touch anything, if it'll... You know what? People have been saying though that it's kicking everybody off of like phone and computer, but it doesn't kick people off TV. BD says, I have not been kicked out. Are you on your TV or are you on phone and stuff? I put in tickets for it every single time it starts doing it. And ask the YouTube gods above to help me. iPad. Typically I do that. So you haven't been kicked out on your own. I don't know. Holly Mack, it did kick you off the TV. So then it's not that. Because we were trying to figure out if it's like one thing versus another. Because I put it in on my tickets every time, but I'm like, okay, well, the more specific I am, maybe the more they can help me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just a reminder, I'm going to boost this volume. Just a reminder as we're watching, no being mean to each other about what you believe. Everybody is allowed to believe whatever they want to believe based on evidence, but no being rude about it. ML gifted a membership. It went to Sonia Torres. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, ML. Thank you, thank you. Yes, agree to disagree. That's how it works here. I just don't want any of the attacking somebody for what they believe. And I also don't like anybody telling me what I think. You don't know what I think. Oh, Tommy says, I'll be good. I'll be good. I think that this case seems to bring out the passion. Brings out the passion in people. Passion is a good thing, but attacking is not. And also, something I've noticed with this case is that people tend to believe that whatever they believe, that anybody who doesn't believe everything they believe believes everything the opposite of they believe. And that's not how life works. Kathy, hello. Gossip Rumor Innuendo. Gifted membership. Thank you so much. It went to Jess Dawson. Jess Dawson, welcome to the green side. Kathy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We got 3 weeks, y'all. 3 weeks till this trial starts. Turn on the audio. Turn on the audio. Hello. Turn on the audio.
Chose not to be here today, and so counsel will argue the motion here this morning. So, but before we begin, I have been told repeatedly from both Mr. Jackson and Mr. Yannetti, and I do understand completely that Mr. Yannetti cannot be here today. He's certainly excused from being here today. But I was told that there would be a motion for a motion to dismiss based on egregious government misconduct. I was told that by both Mr. Jackson and Mr. Yannetti. I asked Mr. Yannetti how that motion to dismiss was any different than the motion for sanctions and motion to disqualify the district attorney's office. He assured me that it was in fact different. He assured me that he would put in the body of the motion how it was different. And he assured me as recently as last week that that motion would be filed later that day. So that motion has not been filed. That motion then is waived. So what we have today are two motions regarding Rule 14 obligations. So who's going to argue? Is it Ms. Yannetti or? I will be arguing. Okay, so I need you at a microphone. So I will hear you on the motion where you're looking for notes, reports, memoranda, and logs.
Thank you. Your Honor, at the outset, I just want to note that as this court is aware, we have a motion pending before the court to disqualify the Norfolk DA's office from this case. Our position, therefore, is that the DA's office should not be participating in this case or arguing any motions, including this one. And I raise this issue just to alert the court that we are not waiving any objection to their continued involvement in the case.
Okay, so I haven't decided that because I was waiting for the motion for egregious conduct, motion for sanctions, or motion to dismiss based on egregious governmental misconduct, because I needed to be assured that that was different than the motion to disqualify. If I had known it was not coming, and maybe no intention of filing it, I would have decided that motion by now.
Your Honor, it was a strategic decision for us not to file that motion. It's not because it wasn't meritorious. It was a strategic decision only.
All right. You made representations that you were, therefore the other motion. I have not acted on that yet.
I just want you to note the objection, please.
Yeah, the objection's noted, so please move on to the merits of your discovery request.
Absolutely. Your Honor, we're asking for material that fits squarely within the parameters of Rule 14. Statements were made to investigators in this case, including to Mr. Lally and to his staff, and in certain conversations, the state police were even present. Statements of witnesses are simply discoverable. Although they lodged general objections to each of our requests, and these were really boilerplate objections, the Norfolk DA's office appears to be arguing that these witness statements contained in their notes of their conversations, multiple conversations, are all work product. They have not disclosed that. If the notes contain any witness statements, and if the Norfolk DA's office is objecting to producing them to the defense, then this court, we're asking this court to have the DA's office produce those notes to the court so that this court can conduct an in-camera review of their notes and evaluate whether they are truly all work product or whether there is, in fact, discoverable material contained therein. Beyond that, Your Honor, we would rest on our motion in our brief.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lally, your response, please.
Yes, sir. And Your Honor, I'll be brief. So essentially what the defendant's motion seeks is, and I would object to the mischaracterization of every single phone call or conversation with a witness as an interview with a witness, but I'm not even sure what half of these are referring to, as I don't recall any of those specific meetings occurring. But if there were meetings, any meeting with a witness post-grand jury was in reference to either harassment that they were sustaining as a result of actions of others in this case, or as a result of a simple explanation as to Rule 17 motions that have been filed for individuals' phones or phone records or other third-party records that they were the subject of. It's a boilerplate response because it's a boilerplate law that applies in this case, as far as work product that applies to each and every one of the requests, with the exception of number 8, of which the Commonwealth has no objection to that.
Explain to me how work product applies.
Your Honor, work product applies and specifically in reference to, it's contained within, and I would largely rest on the Commonwealth's motion, but it's contained within what's cited as Beng Xiao Liang in regard to interview notes in preparation of testimony is work product under the case law, under the rule of criminal procedure. Whatever notations may be contained within those. But essentially, these are not statements as they're defined under Rule 14 from any of these conversations with witnesses. Rule 14 doesn't apply to these statements, number one. But secondly, if there is any content, it's either already been provided through the course of a police report, grand jury minutes, there's nothing different than what has already been provided. And then secondly, what the case law states and what Rule 14 states is that these types of conversations with witnesses, whether reduced to writing or not, are within the ambit of the work product doctrine.
All right. Any response? You don't necessarily have to, but I just want to see if you want to.
I would just say, Your Honor, their opposition to our motion does not even acknowledge whether there are statements or not statements. I just heard Mr. Lally say that there, in fact, are statements. So I am going to ask again that this court take those notes there and go through it and in camera and decide whether, in fact, all of it is work product or whether there exists within it discoverable materials with statements of witnesses. And I find it hard to believe that there wouldn't be any statements of witnesses concerning this case. Thank you.
Do you want to respond at all?
Your Honor, again, with reference to the, as they term them, interviews, but essentially phone calls with witnesses, these were in regard to explaining to them the Rule 17 process, explaining to them what counsel had filed, what types of records were being requested. It was, in large part, me talking as far as explaining the law and things of that nature. There were not any statements related to the case or any testimony that was discussed or anything of that nature. The one thing that I was referring to is there is one request that does deal with a meeting which involves preparation of a witness for grand jury, and whatever that witness indicated in the course of that was testified to before the grand jury, and is contained within the minutes and contained within police reports of interviews with that same witness. So there's nothing to report.
All right. All right. The next motion is the Commonwealth's motion for reciprocal discovery. But before we begin with that, Mr. Lally, could you tell me what reciprocal discovery has been provided to the Commonwealth at this point?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
All right. So trial is 3 weeks from today. When did the Commonwealth provide its certificate?
So the Commonwealth is unable to file its certificate of compliance at this point. The one, I would say, sort of primary piece that we're waiting on is there were 2 rounds of DNA testing that were done at the Bodie Lab in Virginia. One of those was completed. That was in regard to the defendant's taillight. That was finished, I think, first week of March, and counsel already has all of that. The second piece is in relation to the hair from the rear of the defendant's vehicle. Just for sort of review purposes, that was something that had gone or undergone sort of typical DNA testing, which is autosomal DNA testing, which is taking the profile from, or attempting to take the profile from the nucleus of the cell, and it relates to essentially both biological parents. That sample was of insufficient quality or quantity to generate a sample under the autosomal, so we had asked, and the court had ordered, for the mitochondrial DNA testing, which goes to the maternal side only, and the Bodie Lab is able to do that. My latest update from that, and I say all that just to build up as to a sort of caveat as far as the testing is concerned. So the initial estimate as far as the testing was would put us several weeks out. We had asked that it be expedited. We had paid for it to be expedited. And the quickest that they can turn around a report would be sometime in mid-April. The caveat to that is whether or not there is a sufficient quantity and quality for them to generate a mitochondrial DNA profile from the sample. That I should have an answer to, I was told, by the end of the month. So hopefully by either the end of this week or very early next week, because obviously if they aren't able to generate a mitochondrial DNA profile from the sample, then there's no reason to generate one from the victim and do a comparison. So that would sort of end it there, and then we would then be able to file the certificate of compliance.
All right. Every other aspect of the case, though?
Every other aspect of the case, as I mentioned, there was number 8 in the defendant's motion to compel that we should have to them by the end of this week, if not earlier. So every other aspect of the case as far as discovery goes should be done from the Commonwealth's perspective. And that's the reason that I filed the motion, Your Honor, at this time, understanding that they're not obligated under the rules of criminal procedure to provide anything, but given that we have an April 16th trial date and I have nothing as far as any sort of reports or notice of experts or testing or anything really at all, I'd appreciate being able to get that, review that, or at least see it, prior to the day we're impaneling.
All right. What do you say, counsel?
Your Honor, as you know, we do not owe them any reciprocal discovery until they file a certificate of compliance, which has not been done. I mean, we have received hundreds of pages of documents. I mean, 4 days ago, we received like 400 pages of documents we haven't gone through. Counsel just handed us a thumb drive with, I don't know what's on this thumb drive. We have to go through that. So we haven't given any reciprocal discovery because we are not obligated to do so.
Do you intend to call experts?
Yes.
In areas other than DNA?
I'm going to have to defer to Mr. Jackson, who is on Zoom.
All right, but counsel to arguing these motions was to be present here in court today. Right.
Your Honor, if I can be heard for just a second on that issue, Mr. Lally made it very clear that given the fact that he was not in compliance with his discovery obligations, that this motion was not to be heard today. So this is sort of coming out of nowhere.
No. Hold on. So Mr. Lally doesn't decide what motions were to be argued. Today was for all non-evidentiary pretrial motions were to be argued. This was filed timely. This was on for today. If you feel that you cannot argue it, that's a different story. So you are muted. All right. Mr. Jackson, you're muted.
I don't know how I got muted. Yes, we are intending to call experts, and there are going to be experts that are in areas other than DNA as well. But we haven't provided discovery because we don't even know what the 400 pages or 500 pages that we just got 3 or 4 days ago include, nor the discovery that was handed to us this morning. As soon as the Commonwealth gets finished with their compliance obligations, we will then comply with our discovery obligations. We have every intention of doing so, and we're fully prepared to do so. We're waiting on them.
So once you get it from the Commonwealth, you can have it in the matter of a day or so, other than the DNA?
Well, I don't know if I can do it in a day, but once we have full
you do know, if you're calling witnesses, you know who you're calling, correct?
I have an idea who I'm calling, yes.
All right, and you've engaged experts, so you've been working with experts, so you should have all that information ready to disclose, correct?
We're in the process of getting those decisions finalized, yes, but some of them are going to be predicated on what the Commonwealth discovery and the totality of the Commonwealth discovery looks like.
No,
that's their obligation.
No, I understand. All right, but you will be calling witnesses and you will be calling expert witnesses?
Absolutely.
All right. What is your estimate as to how long this case will take to try?
I assume if the Commonwealth case, I'm just throwing a dart at a dartboard, but based on what I know, if the Commonwealth case takes 3 to 4 weeks, I think our case would probably take 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lally, I suggest that you get that information as soon as possible. It could be that I strike it, but I would hear from the defense on that as well. But at least find out if they're able to do the testing.
Yeah, sure.
All right. All right. Thank you. You have your next date. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
All right, please.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Not you. You're not going anywhere. Listen for a hot mic moment. Yeah, so 3 to 4 weeks for estimated for Commonwealth, and then another 2 weeks for defense. It's gonna be a long trial. This might be one of the longest deliberations that we've heard too, or that we've seen, because people do not agree on this. Of course, I will say this. There is a difference in having to deliberate on what you believe happened, or on if you believe that there's reasonable doubt. Let's do a poll. Start a poll. Do you believe, based on what we've seen so far, and keep in mind, we haven't seen everything. There will be stuff that comes out in trial that we haven't seen, that we don't know yet. But just based on what we know and what we've seen so far.
Quick and easy, huh? Yes.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Do you believe, based on what we've seen so far, that there is reasonable doubt in the Commonwealth's case? Yes or no? All right. Let's see. Let's go back and see if we can. Look, they're running. We'll go back and watch them outside. The thing is, I have been very clear in my disapproval of the investigation, and I've been very clear in my disapproval of some of the antics that have gone on with not only how sloppy the investigation is, but with the Commonwealth and just all of that. But I do know that, and I mentioned this in the last episode of the podcast, I do know that the people who believe that Karen is guilty believe that she is guilty, and they believe that justice for John O'Keefe is Karen being locked up. And that's what they believe, and that's their truth. Why can't we hear this? We have it muted because our audio is all the way up. Now they turn their So the people who believe that she's guilty truly believe that justice for John O'Keefe is her being locked up because they believe that she is guilty and that's what happened. The people who believe that she is innocent believe that justice for John O'Keefe is having Karen exonerated and
Karen, I like your shoes.
And having the people who believe what or the people who are actually responsible, you know, for her death, having them, you know, held accountable for the bad investigation and for the people who, you know, did whatever they did to, you know, to John O'Keefe, depending on which theory they go with. So,
I mean, we're 21 days from the trial. Do you expect that's going to happen when the judge originally set it?
I just don't know. I believe if it goes to trial, I think there is enough information that's been put forward and argued by Attorney Jackson that the grand jury at the state level perhaps was not provided with all of the information it should have been, perhaps not as forthcoming in the prosecution. So I think to the extent that that informs Judge Cannoni's decision about whether or not to dismiss this case based on Attorney Jackson's performance, I think that is meritorious, truly do. But we all know the case. If we go to trial, we will prevail. There will be experts, informed experts. And I always keep thinking of this. I remember some of the letters that were produced in the court. One of them in particular that came, I'm going to paraphrase it, I may be off, General Counsel for the U.S. Attorneys responding here to Norfolk County, essentially saying that the acting U.S. Attorney from Massachusetts has a very different opinion of this case than what is put forth from the Commonwealth here. And I look upon that as the overarching fact that keeps me going. That somebody at that high level, highest level, federal authorities, based on their investigation that is still ongoing, my understanding, essentially or allegedly believes, this was in that letter in early August, and you know what I'm speaking of, you have it. It's the second paragraph, essentially saying that Joshua Levy has a very different opinion of the circumstances in this case. And it is essential that his investigation go on. So I'm a reasonable individual, and when I look at that and I digest that, and all of the evidence that's been put forward by Karen's relentless defense team, I'm very encouraged.
Bill,
did you see
why did the judge said that she was expecting a motion for egregious prosecutor misconduct? Why was it not filed?
Gross government misconduct, governmental misconduct. My sense is, as you heard, it was strategic, and you can make of that what you like. But I think you have a pretty good understanding of what it means from our standpoint. It's not that it wasn't substantive, not that it wasn't meritorious, that's my understanding. I don't know what it, contained, but from what I was able to glean, just the hearings, it was meritorious. But it was a strategic decision.
How about this, it looks like it'll be a 6-week trial from what we can tell. What do you think about that? What do you make the 6 weeks?
It's been a hell. 26 months, it's been a hell. And if we have to go to trial, we will clear this up. My daughter's got a great defense team, and we've got the facts. We have the facts. We have the truth. And so I'm not, listen, I want this to end. No father should have to go through this. For a factually innocent child, I want this to end. And it has to end through the court proceeding, and it will. But I'm hopeful this Honorable Judge Cannoni will see the merits for the dismissal argument and dismiss this case.
You have a sense that that's what she will do, or
I
you?
have no sense. I have no sense. That's within her decision making. But I'm hopeful. I think she's an honorable judge, and I hope she, sees this case and its limitations towards the ways we go forward. So thank you all. I appreciate all your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Mr. Reed.
That was amazing.
Good job, bud.
I feel bad for her parents. I know that
Such a nice guy.
So nice.
that would be really hard.
What a nice family.
Oh my God, yes.
It breaks my heart, Tom.
Yep, it does.
I love their accents. Oh my God, I love their accents so much. It breaks my heart.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
That's why
God,
we're
it's
here.
sad.
I love their accents so much. Here's the thing. I think that thank you very much. Thank you. A lot of time has gone into it, but I'm very proud of it. The thing is, I think that I have been very clear from literally episode 1 covering this. From the very beginning, I have said that I see issues in both sides. But I think the biggest thing is that, and I've said this from the beginning, at the bare minimum, there's reasonable doubt. So I think that's the part that has been so crazy about this one, because there is, from what we've seen, reasonable doubt, but in order to fully believe the Commonwealth's theory, you have to completely ignore certain things that are factual. And I think that's the part. The defense has presented their third-party culpability defense, and they are saying, that something else happened, that something else happened in that house, or around that house or whatever. They believe that the injuries look more like from a dog attack. And then, of course, there's all the stuff about, like, all of a sudden they, get rid of Chloe after, their German Shepherd, after having her for, 7 or 8 years. There's, one of the biggest pieces of evidence was the 2:27 a.m. search on how long to die in the cold. The snowplow driver came by and plowed that road right in front of the house and said very clearly, there's, which, by the way, the Trooper Proctor didn't even, again, I know I harp on how bad the investigation was, but Trooper Proctor didn't even interview Lucky until, 18 months in or something like that. I don't know. I have it written down on the time thing. But it's like almost a year and a half into the investigation before they finally interviewed a witness who drove right by where it happened. And but the FBI had interviewed him, and the private investigator for the defense interviewed him, and he said that he drove by there. He said that there was no body on the ground, and he sits high up in his truck, and he sees, everything's lit up and stuff, and he sees very clearly. He looks, front and then side to side. So he said that there's no doubt in his mind that he would have seen it if there was a body on the ground right there. And he also said that he saw a Ford Edge parked in the street right in front of where his words were exactly where John's body was found. So that has been a big part of this too, because multiple family members have Ford Edge, cars, and it was parked right where his body was. And this is about the same time that the call between Brian Albert and Brian Higgins happened, and around the same time as How Long to Die in the Cold. So that is what they're presenting as evidence that backs their third-party culpability defense. So the thing is, if we haven't gotten all the evidence yet, we won't hear everything until it comes out at trial, but those are pretty big things to ignore for the Commonwealth's theory to be accepted 100%. And keep in mind, they have already presented one theory, which I completely pulverized in episode 5 or 4, whichever one it was, where I said, I went through the timeline, and that ridiculous recreation that they did, where they said that, he was hit at this time and this time, and then I went through, and literally every single one of their own witnesses' statements went against it, and all of the other data that we had went against it, and there was just no way for that one to be possible. And they ended up that one wasn't in, that one was kind of dropped off of the statement of case. I'm assuming they're not going with that one anymore, because there's not even a chance that it could have been right. It was, I'm surprised that they even allowed for that to go into their court records. It just made their case look silly, honestly. But regardless, in order to accept the Commonwealth's theory 100%, there are some huge things that you would have to just completely ignore. So that's why I say that if nothing else, there is reasonable doubt here that has to be considered, because there's just a lot of mess on both sides. Obviously, we will get a lot more. I'm going to put it on that. We can watch this for a minute. There's a lot more evidence that we haven't heard yet that will come out, and I go through it piece by piece and give both sides in the podcast, because there's so much. It takes a lot to go through all of it. Okay, whoever wanted to watch, this is I guess they're going to talk about the bridge. We'll watch this, and then we're going to... Where did this happen? The bridge that collapsed? Oops.
Thank you all for being here. This morning, our state is in shock, and I want to take this moment to speak directly to the people of our state. To our first responders, I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of your courage. I'm in awe of your strength. I'm in awe of everything you do for each and every one of us. You saw a crisis, and you said, what can I do to help? And our response teams are doing everything in our power to rescue and recover the victims of this collapse, literally as we speak. People who, as we speak, are out there are divers, are air assets. People who right now are working to save lives, and are doing it because the state asked. And we will update the public as the work continues. To our partners inside and outside of government, I know this has been a long night. We started coordinating immediately after the Key Bridge collapsed. We've been standing together every step of the way, from our county leadership, to our city leadership, to our state leadership, to our federal leadership. And I'm grateful to call each and every one of you not just colleagues, but I'm grateful to call you friends. And to the people of Baltimore, and each and every one of the 6.3 million Marylanders who call our state home, I recognize that many of us are hurting right now. I recognize that many of us are scared right now. So I want to be very clear about where everything stands. We are still investigating what happened, but we are quickly gathering details. The preliminary investigation points to an accident. We haven't seen any credible evidence of a terrorist attack. Our administration is working closely with leaders from all levels of government and society to respond to this crisis, and not but just by addressing the immediate aftermath, but also by building a state that is more resilient and a state that's more safe. That is our pledge, and that's our commitment, and we're going to keep that commitment. And lastly, to the victims of this tragedy and their loved ones, all of our hearts are broken. We feel your loss, we're thinking of you, and we will always be thinking of you. We pray for the construction workers who are on the Key Bridge, and we pray for everyone who has been touched by this tragedy, and their families, and all of their loved ones. But Maryland, we will get through this, because that is the Maryland spirit, and that's what Maryland is made of. We are Maryland tough, and we are Baltimore strong. So in the face of heartbreak, we come together. We embrace one another, and we come back stronger. That's what we've always done. That's what we'll continue to do. And that's what we're going to get done together.
That's so sad.
And we're going to pray for Baltimore. And I'd like to turn this over to Senator Van Hollen, who's done a remarkable job in our fellow delegation in providing support. So thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Governor. As the governor said, we come together. We come together in Baltimore, we come together in Maryland. First of all, our hearts go out to all those who are on the bridge and their loved ones. We pray for them. Our gratitude goes out to the first responders who, as we speak, are out there continuing to conduct search and rescue operations. I want to thank the governor, the mayor, county executive, all the people gathered here as part of Team Baltimore and Team Maryland. And the federal government is with them as a partner. The Coast Guard, as we speak, is also part of this mission. Coast Guard cutters, Coast Guard aviation assets. I spoke twice today with Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg has pledged that they will do everything they can to very quickly release emergency response funds for this important project. The National Highway Transportation Administrator is on his way to Baltimore if he's not here already. They will be releasing those early funds once all the parties are fully engaged. Second, the National Transportation Safety Board. I talked to the chair this morning. She and her team will be conducting an investigation of what happened. And finally, the Army Corps of Engineers, naval assets for looking below the surface and clearing. All of this is going to be part of the effort. The governor is leading Team Maryland, the mayor and the county executive, of course, Team Baltimore. But I'm just here to say, together with Ben Cardin, Senator Cardin, and Congressman Fume and others, the federal government is your partner in this effort. Thank you, and again, to the people of our state and the people of this great city. We're with you. We love you. We will get through this together. Thank you, Governor.
That's very sad.
Morning again, Paul Wiedefeld, Secretary of Transportation. Just a few updates since our meeting this morning. The crew that was out there working was basically repairing potholes. So you understand that had nothing to do with a structural issue at all in the facility. At this time, one person has been rescued so far. and our efforts continue in terms of that. Engineers are on site right now, determining both some of the structural issues, obviously some of the debris field, and we'll start to work that, but we'll work hand in hand with the NTSB before we take any further action in that area. With that, I did want to introduce the FBI for a few comments as well.
Hello, my name is Bill Del Bagno. I'm the special agent in charge of the Baltimore field office. First and foremost, I want to say that our hearts go out to everyone that is impacted by this tragedy, especially the victims and their families. On behalf of the FBI, I would like to say that we are with you, we're with Baltimore, and we're with the partners every step of the way. The FBI, on very first, looking at and assessing this matter from an investigative standpoint, I want to be clear that there is no specific or credible information to suggest that there are ties to terrorism in this incident. The FBI has been part of this response from the beginning. We came within 1 hour to the command post and quickly lashed up with our very strong partners all along the way. We will bring whatever resources that the FBI has to bear. We've already brought our crisis response, our victim services, and just recently our underwater search evidence recovery teams are on site. And we will continue to provide all those resources as long as it takes. And as the investigation goes on, we will take it to its logical conclusion along with our partners. To the people of Baltimore, to the public, I ask you to be patient as we go through this and as information becomes available to us. And lastly, I want to say thank you. Thank you to our partners. Thank you to everyone who in the FBI and counts on the FBI. We will always bring what we need to the people of Baltimore, and we are with you. I'd next like to introduce the Coast Guard.
Good morning. The Coast Guard is still actively searching at this time. We are using response boat crews from 2 of our local Coast Guard stations, one of our helo crews from Air Station Atlantic City, and also one of our cutter crews on one of our 87-foot patrol boats. We will continue to work with our local, state, and federal partners during this tragedy. Thank you.
We'll take some questions, comments. We're going to start from this side.
As far as you are aware, was the collapse of that bridge inevitable as that ship hit that part of the bridge?
No, we're still in the process of investigating exactly what happened. So we don't have any further details about whether or not it was inevitable or not.
But no structural issue with the bridge?
No, there was. In fact, the bridge was actually fully up to code, so we have no further information about what happened during that time.
Any idea on how many victims we're looking for?
Stop completely, and do you have any estimate very early on as to how long it will be before shipping can resume to the Port of Baltimore?
Yeah, we don't have any estimates on timeline because right now our exclusive focus is on saving lives. Our exclusive focus is on search and rescue.
Any amount of victims that we're looking for
Hey,
right now.
calm down. Lucy.
Well,
There are 8 individuals. 6 are being searched for right now. One is was taken to the hospital, and one is not in the hospital that we're speaking to.
So 6 unaccounted for?
Yes.
And does that involve individuals that may have been in vehicles that were underwater? Do we know?
We believe it's a construction crew only.
Okay, so we don't think there's anyone in vehicles underwater?
No, we do not believe so.
Okay, we'll take questions right here. Take this question here.
Governor, 2 questions. How quickly did you find out about what happened here, and what was your reaction when you heard the scale of what just occurred?
Well, I mean, I think it was probably within minutes of everything, less than an hour, when I know that my phone first rang, and first from the mayor of Baltimore and also from our chief of staff.
And it was, we know the Key Bridge. I've ridden over the Key Bridge countless times. So many of us know the Key Bridge because it is our normal commute. This is a place that is a normal commute route for over 30,000 Marylanders every single day. And so to hear the words that the Key Bridge has collapsed, it's shocking and heartbreaking. And immediately the first thought and the first ideas go back to what happened to the people, what was the impact on human life. But for every single one of us who are Marylanders, the words that the Key Bridge is gone, it still shakes us, because for 47 years, that's all we've known. And so this is not just unprecedented from what we're seeing and what we're looking at today. It's heartbreaking.
Governor, can you confirm that the crew on the ship alerted authorities that it had lost propulsion and was in trouble?
We can confirm that that the crew notified authorities of a power issue.
And that they had lost power on
Total of 8. Excuse me. A total of 8. One rescued in hospital. One not in hospital, but we've communicated with that person, and then 6 that we are searching for. Yes, they were all related to the construction program. Yes.
We heard that multiple vehicles went into the water. Any word on how many vehicles went into the water?
Multiple vehicles went into the water.
Not at this time.
All right, we're gonna shift over here. Was there any way to shut down the bridge? Was there enough time for that distress call to trigger something like that?
The thing that we know is that even as the boat was coming in, we had a ship that was coming in at 8 knots, so coming in at a very rapid speed. We do know that the investigation is currently going on, but I have to say I'm thankful for the folks who once the warning came up and once notification came up that there was a mayday, who literally, by being able to stop cars from coming over the bridge, these people are heroes. They saved lives last night.
The focus is on rescue now, but looking forward, is there any vision for how long it can possibly take for the wreckage to rebuild, how it can possibly be done? Can you look into the future ahead all at this point?
This is going to be a long-term build. It's going to be a build that's going to require every facet and every aspect of our society. It is something that I can tell you we are going to get this done. We are going to make sure that this is not just rebuilt, but that we are going to rebuild in a way that remembers the people who this tragedy has impacted, and also do it in a way that honors the community that it serves. But right now,
So crazy.
I cannot give you any form of estimate on timing or cost. Right now, my and all of our exclusive focus is we're just trying to save lives.
Can the mayor talk on the state of emergency locally, please?
Yes, thank you. Listen, we know the governor issued a state of emergency.
That's the mayor.
We at the local level felt the need to do that too, because there may be some things that we
He looks
have to
so young.
cover with our fire department and other agencies that we'll be able to pull down support for as we all work together, again, as we're focused right now on saving lives and working through this unspeakable tragedy.
In the interim, I know that there's obviously the focus is on the rescue and the recovery, but this is such an important thoroughfare here in Baltimore for drivers, people trying to get around. How are they going to be able to manage while that is also going on?
Yeah, so we've also already been in touch with people about alternative routes and ways people can navigate now that this tragedy has happened. I don't know, Secretary, if you want to speak to that as well.
Just to give you a sense of scale, roughly about 35,000 people a day use that facility. About double that use the Harbor Tunnel, and double that again use the Fort McHenry Tunnel. So basically, we have those 2 other options. We'll make sure that we have as much personnel out there to deal with any incidents, because as you know, that can cause the backups very quickly. And we will basically put out a lot of communication on different alternatives. We're also looking at transit alternatives as well.
What role will the legislature play in this response? What role will the legislature play in this response? Are there any policies, any state funds coming free up in the coming weeks?
Oh yeah, no. So we are, in fact, you know, we have our Senate President here. We have members of the legislature here. The legislature is going to have a role in all of this, as will our local elected officials, as will state officials, as will the federal government. You know, everybody is going to have a role in terms of how we think about the rebuild.
Governor, how long do you expect shipping to be closed down through the port? Do you have any estimate in terms of the port here?
We don't at this point.
But
We
no
don't at this
ships
point.
are going in or out at this time.
Correct. Yeah, we don't have an estimate on timeline as of yet. Our focus really is right now on just make sure we're saving lives.
What about the ships that are currently docked at the port? Are they able to get out at all or no?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The ships that are the vessels that are currently docked at the port, are they able to get out or no?
The one that's captured under the is that
Still at port.
oh yes, that one's still at port, yes.
One last question.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the ship being guided out by tugs, firstly? And secondly, did you just say that it issued a mayday in enough time that you were able to stop all traffic from entering both sides, so that the only casualties we expect are the workers on the bridge?
Yes, ma'am. So the investigation is still going on, so we're going to have all the full details and also all the full details about the timeline and the TikTok that took place. But we're thankful that between the Mayday and the collapse that we had officials who were able to begin to stop the flow of traffic, so more cars were not up on the bridge. And I can.
But there were some on the bridge, or not? Were there any?
Well, during the collapse.
Yeah, were there some on the bridge? There have been reports that have been sonar that have detected vehicles at the bottom of the water. So as well as the 8 people, there could still be people trapped inside or potentially have died in vehicles. Is that correct?
I think, well, the investigation is still going on to find out exactly how many people in what situation. But the thing that we do know is that many of the vehicles were stopped before they got onto the bridge, which saved lives in a very, very heroic way.
Thank you all very much. We'll have another update later. Thank you.
This is a huge detail. We don't know how many vehicles.
David, any thought on time?
Thank you all.
I wonder. Hold on. I wonder how many people tell him that he has Ice Cube's eyebrows.
Are they able to
Like-
get out at all or no?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The ship.
He does have ice. Like, those are Ice Cube's eyebrows. Those are Ice Cube's eyebrows. Anyway. I bet he's told that a lot. We'll try to keep watch on this and see. That's really sad. You know, stuff like this, when it happens, is always it's always hard. I can't believe or not believe. I can't imagine how it would be to be you know, the families of some of those that they're looking for. So prayers to them. You know why I'm fascinated by the mayor's age? Because he looks very young. And when I see him look very young, my immediate next thought is he's old enough to be the mayor. So if he's old enough to be the mayor and he looks very young to me, that is a realization that I am getting older. Because everybody looks young to me now. And when the, 25 and 30-year-olds are now looking like they're my son's age, that's how I know I'm getting older. But that's okay. There was a time I didn't think I would get old, so it's a blessing. Yeah, I bet he does hear that all the time. I pray there's not any more cars found. My heart breaks for the construction crew and their families, but thank God this wasn't during commuting time. Yeah, that's a good point, Lindsay Hendricks. Like, you know, as tragic as this is, like, it is, you know, that is one, you know, at least it wasn't during, like, morning traffic when it would have been packed. I guess, you know, 1:30 isn't, of course, going to be like the high traffic time, so at least there's that. But man, oh, it's sad. We're all young at heart. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. It's all right. Young at heart. He's 30. He's 39. Oh, I thought somebody said he was like 28 or something. Well, dang, then he's only a couple years younger than me, and he looks way younger than me. Okay, he's 39. He's 40 in April. So he's only a year and a half younger than me. I just look old. Now I got to go get Botox or something. Hello. Welcome. Yes, I had to take yesterday off. I spent so much time trying to get the podcast episode done over the weekend, and then I had so much to get done behind the scenes. So I had to take yesterday off from the lives so I could rest a little bit in the morning and then spend all afternoon getting caught up on all the other stuff. So, but there's so much exciting stuff coming up, and I'm really excited. And as things come up, I'll be able to kind of tell you bit by bit. The trial that we are speed trialing, since we didn't do it yesterday, we will speed trial today. I am having all kinds of computer issues with everything going really slow, so I'm going to reboot my computer and all of that. What time do I have that stream set for? I think I have it set for like 10 or 11, right? I have it set for 10, so I have it set for about 30 minutes from now. So I'm going to we'll end here so I can reboot and get everything working how it's supposed to be working, so I don't have any more issues, and hopefully no more of those little squiggly lines that I keep getting on everything that I'm doing. And we will start days. Oh, it's listed as day 4. That's not right. I need to change that. It's not day 4. It's days 5 and 6. Save. It's right on the thumbnail, but it wasn't right on the title. Okay, so I've got that set for like 30 minutes from now. What I can do is I can portal us over there, so that way you can hang out and chat there if you want to, or just hit the... What is happening? See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm getting like the little thing again. Or you can just hit notification. But I need to restart my... I need to reboot all my stuff so I can stop having problems. So we will do that, and then we can talk about some other stuff too while we're over there, and we'll keep an eye on some of the stuff. We can talk about the Nancy Grace thing, the interview that she did with Sebastian's mom and Mr. Chris, and the P. Diddy stuff and all that. So we can look at some of that too. Because there's so much going on in the world right now. But I need to reboot this. So I will see y'all over there in about half an hour. Sound good? All right. Love you. Bye.
I gotta go. I can't stick around here forever.
Everybody was wonderful. Everybody behaved. Everybody's always so nice to me.
Just love your channel and
Goodbye, good people. Now, how the heck out of here?